All right, welcome. Happy winter solstice. Yeah, first day of winter, so there's that. Let's sit then. And as we're settling in, I'll just remind you that there's no classes next week. I mean, there's opportunities through Inward Office, but there's no, live while you classes. So, happy holidays, and I'll see you following week. So we've prepared our seat. All right, let's take a moment and roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. And as you're moving through this, just notice what you're finding. What's in there. And then take it and go the other direction. Wonderful. Good, then set those shoulders. Bring our hands together at heart center. Close the eyes. Root down into the earth with the sits bones. Rise up to the sky with the spine. Expand in all areas with the ribs and the lungs. Up, down, and around. Creating that space to become outside of the body as well. Widening, lengthening, expanding. Begin to lengthen the breath by slowing it down, going into those deeper pockets of the lungs. Feeling the low rib cage expand a bit more the deeper we go. Not just the belly, but the whole lower rib cage of the front, back, and side bodies. Use that exhale to root down a little bit deeper. Settle. Let yourself settle. Back to your normal breath after the next exhalation. And we'll drop the chin towards the chest and lift the chest towards the chin. Bring that head back up. Allow the eyes to come back slowly. We'll release the palms. And we'll move into squat. So coming out of crossed legs or Virasana legs. Reaching the arms up and folding forward through those thighs, upper legs.
Releasing the head. We walk the arms out, keeping the shoulder blades sort of drawing away from the ears so we don't shorten the neck. We're still rooted very deeply through the sits bones. And here you can use that longer breath to really feed the low lungs of the lower back. They go down all the way below the ribs there towards the pelvis. So see if you can find that depth in those back low lungs. Pretty present in the thoracic spine, but find it in the lumbar. You can push the floor and walk back up nice and slowly. Then let's go ahead and bring the legs closer together. So they're going to be about hip width apart. All right, so you're kind of on a track with the legs. The armpits are going to rest over the knees. So we can take the arms up and hinge forward. It's like a little puzzle piece there. And then let the head release here. And from this position here, we're going to move into Uttanasana, forward fold, keeping all of this connection. Feel your ribs connecting to your thighs here. See if you could keep that connection, sort of super glue the ribs and the thighs as you take your sits bones off the block and fold forward. So it's a big knee bend, most likely. The arms and the head are just kind of dead weight. And you're using the whole foot, but basically the ball of the big toe, the ball of the little toe in the center of the heel. So make sure you're not letting the weight go to the outer edge of the foot or all into the heel or all into the balls of the feet towards the toes. Really connect with your feet the same way you do with your sits bones when we're sitting. And then I'm going to have you sit back down. And come up. That's nice. Okay, you guys. We're going to come off of the block, but I would like to keep the blanket and turn the blanket, the knee blanket, right? This is the knee blanket, folding it in half to make a little seat. We'll take Dandasana. So we'll come to sit on that little seat. Creates some height for us, and that's really kind of necessary if you have really tight hamstrings. So if you get into this position here and you're still having a hard time with the hamstrings or having a hard time lifting the spine, then go ahead and give that knee bend to yourself. All right. So we'll go about hip width or shoulder width apart with the feet. We'll send the toes upright to face the ceiling. Arms can come out to the side. And we're going to windshield wiper the legs here. So we're just tick-tocking, tick-tocking the legs. And having awareness of where this is coming from. So this is the upper leg bone moving in the hip socket there. So connect with that and what's happening in that area. And then we'll release the tic-tac there. So we're going to start to hinge forward on the hips, leading with the navel versus the nose. If we lead with the head, which of course wants to take control because your brain is there, then this generally happens, right? But if we lead with our second brain, our intestinal area, what happens is we find the hinge and we keep the upper back from moving into a kyphotic state, over rounding of the upper back. Go ahead and really start to turn your feet on if you haven't already, spreading the toes. You could also, if you needed height, you could have your blocks here as well. So if you're like, okay, I can hinge forward, but my hands can't make it to the floor, then grab a block. So we're gonna kind of breathe through this for a little bit with the knees gentle. We're not pressing the knee down toward the floor. Shoulders are back and down. And always, you can check with what's happening with your upper back by seeing also what's happening in your collarbone, pectoralis region, right? If that's shrinking, you're rounding your back. We'll stay about 10 more seconds. Don't force the hinge, just see and watch the body sort of unravel the longer you're there, and also unravel kind of with that exhalation breath. And then we can come back up. That's nice. All right. So we're going to bend the right knee. Bring the right knee in. All right, I'm going to turn. My leg is still out. Hug this leg in, and you can use the hug to sort of lift yourself up to sit tall. And then we're going to start to rotate. Right leg is the leg that's in, so we're going to rotate to the right. So start to turn. You could take this left arm and kind of wrap it around the leg and turn. The right hand can go on the floor behind you. Sort of hug that leg in. So it's the same thing, you can kind of hug the leg. That will help kind of with the rotation and also with maintaining this upright position. Then if you'd like, you can look behind you. And you can kind of pull the floor with that right hand to rotate a little bit more. Now gently press the spine that's between your shoulder blades forward and shine a bit brighter with that sternum area. And then unwind. Coming back. I'm going to turn here just so you have a better view, right? This leg is still in. I'm going to lift this leg up. I'm going to see if I can take the outer edge of my right foot, place it in the elbow crease, and then wrap my other elbow around my knee. So it's like a little baby. So shoulders back and down. So if this doesn't work, you can always just put the foot down and hold the stretch here. This is a pretty big stretch. So if you're like, oh my God, I can't do this, you can just place the foot down and make sure there's not too much pressure on that femur bone. If you like the sway, you can sway. I wouldn't make it too big. I'm gonna fall over. And then we can release that. Excellent. And then we can go ahead and just shake the legs a few times. And we'll bring that left foot in. To start, we can just hug gently to help us sort of rise up with the spine. And then as we turn, we can take basically the eye of the elbow bend area around the shin. Take the left hand behind you. You can use that arm kind of drawing towards the leg to lift the spine. Look behind you if it's comfortable. And you can use that left hand to kind of pull the floor to help with the rotation. Relax what you don't need. Belly, eyes, jaw. We'll unwind from that and bring this foot up, taking the outer edge of the foot into the elbow crease, grabbing the outer knee, and just holding the stretch. Or again, the foot can be down on the thigh. If you like rocking, you can rock. Sit the outer glute. Think pigeons, kind of pigeon-like, right? Seated pigeon variation. And then we can release. Once again, that leg, readjust, and then just shake. Shake the legs a few times. All right. Bending the knees intensely, large bend. Pull your hands to bring yourself up. All right, so hinge back. As you hinge back, you can take your hands to your hamstrings in. So we're hinging back right now. I want you to push your low back. So really deeply envelop and engage your abs here and push your low back. So you start this kind of rounding in the low back. So there's a little bit of a posterior pelvic tuck. You feel that tailbone sort of come up. And your hands can stay here, right, if they need to be. And then we'll lift one leg up and the other. Just a variation of both. So we are in a hinge, but we do need to round a little bit, but we want to find that rounding in the lumbar region, and that will happen by really recruiting the core and obliques and pushing. You can push the front low ribs back. That will help as well. Try to stay away from the upper body. And then go ahead and release. Sit tall, shoulders back and down. So all of that could be done at all those different stages, right? You're working wherever you are. So even if you stay down with your feet on the floor and you hinge back and just worked on that little bit of a movement, you're going to be working. So wherever you go in this is good stuff, right? So we can do it again. You can start to hinge back, you come to a point where you're like, okay, I'm gonna start losing stability if I go much further. And then we work on pulling those front ribs back, drawing those obliques in, and pulling the navel to the spine so there's that little rounding of the back. And again, you could be here with your hands. You could stay here, or you could lift one leg. You could play around with lifting one leg, lowering that leg, and then lifting the other leg and lowering. Or both legs up, holding the hamstrings or not. So, right, breaking it down in those different stages. And sometimes I like to do that anyway because you really connect more muscularly versus just coming into the pose. You're like, oh, did I really, am I at my deepest movement here? And then you can come out wherever you are. Come out wherever you are and sit tall. So then obviously we know where to go from there. We're not going to take that today, but maybe in the new year we'll do that with the strap. So let's cross the legs, and this might not work for everybody, but it's a fun way to come into hands and knees. You cross the legs, shift the weight. There you go. Move the blanket. We're gonna take wide child's pose. So extended child's pose, opening the knees. Now remember, you can also just take it anywhere. So the hips can stay up high or the hips can go back. If you want to walk out, you can walk out. If you want to stay upright, so make it suitable for yourself. But if you're down low with me, what I want you to do here is I want you to walk your arms to your ears. Can you get those upper arms to touch your ears? And then turn your palms to face each other. See if you can touch your palms together. And you can, if you need a demonstration, you can obviously just watch and then do it. So my arms are in, touching my ears. I'm going to bend my elbows. And then here I notice I still have more length, so I'm going to walk my elbows away. And this is a beautiful underarm stretch here. Every so often I see if I can walk my elbows a little bit further. Breathe into that area. Send your breath into that space. And then release. All right. So we're going to take a wide-legged downward dog. That could also be done on your forearms as well. So we'll come up. Knees are already wide. We'll take the feet wide then, right? And the knees are going to stay bent the whole time. So if you're on your forearms, you're just here, and you'll kind of move your ribs towards your thighs, and you just kind of come forward and back. If you're not coming into downward dog, that will be where you will be, or you're coming up. But if you're coming into downward dog, here we go. We're going to lift the knees a couple inches off the floor. Pull your navel to your spine, and then legs to thighs, thighs to legs. Heels are lifted. Serious bend in the knees. We want the ribs to touch the thighs. Let the head hang. Let the spine lengthen. Steady breath. And then we'll release the knees down wide. Bring those toes in. Bring your wrists under your shoulders. Round your back. Cat back. Extend your spine. You could still be on forearms, right? Neutral spine. Bring those feet back to a wide position. Tuck your toes, lift your knees 1 inch off the floor. Connect with your core here. And then push your ribs to your thighs. Draw your thighs to your ribs. Don't forget what a downward dog arm is. You're externally rotating the upper arm. Lower arm internally rotates. Breathe. And then release. Here we'll bring the knees together and sit back for child's pose. Stack the hands, rest the head on the hands. Take a few breaths here. We're gonna come up, and you could also do this next one on your forearm. It's sort of a one-sided thing, so just be mindful of moving through this. So hands and knees or forearms. We're gonna stabilize on the left arm first. Think plank with the shoulder above the elbow if you're on your forearm, or wrists, and then make sure not to drop into this arm. So right fingertips can kind of be like in a kickstand position. And we're going to take the right leg back and open it up. So basically it's a side plank. Your heel, ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, ear are in alignment. And just check here, make sure you're not, this is compressing into the shoulder, but lift up out of that shoulder, right? And so it's a nice long line. The head is centered between the shoulders. This leg is reaching, hips are opening, and this arm can go up. Gently squeeze your left hip. It'll help open up the hip pocket there. Now you can send the arm over the ear. And reach. But the shoulder, of course, is away from the ear. And bring the arm back up. So start to lower the arm. As you lower the arm, to turn the whole body, including the foot, to kickstand behind you. Bring it in. Take a rounded back. Come back to neutral. Find the alignment through the right arm. And you can send the left leg back. You're externally rotating that leg and turning the body, aligning the ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, ear scenario. Making sure not to drop into the shoulder. Push that hand down or push that forearm down to avoid that. This arm can go up. Head is centered between the shoulder blades. Gentle squeeze of the right hip forward. Nice, steady breath. We can send that arm over the ear.
going back up. And then start to turn, pivot that foot to come with you. Back onto forearms, your hands and knees, and around the back. And then tuck the toes and come up into a regular Savasana, regular downward facing dog. If you want to pedal the legs, go right ahead. Or sway the hips. Excellent. Let's make our way down. And we can come on to forearms here. Bring your navel towards your spine, so neutral spine. Okay, we're gonna lift the right leg up. Notice how the knee stays bent. We're gonna circle that leg. So circle out to the side and come back. So right leg comes up, circles out, comes back. Stay connected with your core for stabilization and length of the low back. Stay in your range of motion. Stay with your breath. Go ahead and reverse the direction. Take it out to the side, circle up and around and down. One more. Beautiful. Release and just sway the body. And then we'll recenter, reconnect with those abs, bring that left leg up, circle around, and come back to starting position. Stay in that same direction. Stay with your breath. One more this way. Great, and then we'll reverse it. Last one. Excellent. Release, and then just again, sway your body. And then we'll push up. We'll come into extended spine here. So drive that tailbone up. Pull that sternum forward and through. Big breaths. And then sit your hips back to your heels. And when you come up here, you're going to round as you come up. Sit your hips back. And then you're going to scoop up here and do extension. Scoop. Lower down. Rounding up from here. Coming back. Scooping up. One more round. And so this one, when we stay back, this time stay back, hinge forward into a modified plank. So wrists or elbows under the shoulders. Find your core. Navel to spine. So then I want to come down onto our front body so you can bend the elbows lower down like a tricep.
Walk your legs back. Walk your arms forward. And then stack your hands, rest your head on your hands, rock your hips. Okay, take both of your arms forward here. There's a little bit of chest expansion. So the head isn't resting on the ground, a little bit of a lift, nothing major. We're gonna lift the right arm and right leg up and hold. Right arm, right leg up. And then we're gonna lower and lift it. So down and up. Reach long. One more. Good. Switch to the other side. Left arm, left leg. Down and up. Try not to bend at the knee. Good. Now go right arm, left leg. So opposite arm, opposite leg. Right arm, left leg. Up and down. And then switch to the other side. Awesome. Go ahead and stack those hands, rest your head, rock your hip. All right, come onto your forearms with your elbows under your shoulders. Lift your left hand up. So when you lift your left hand up, you're just balancing on your elbow, right? And then turn your left hand so that it comes in front of your heart or in your chest, center of your chest, and place it down. So you just simply now have your left arm, lower left arm at an angle, right? We're going to take our right arm out to the side, kind of somewhere between shoulder and elbow, and then we're going to pull the floor to rotate. It's okay if that right hip lifts a little bit, but it's not like you're trying to roll over on the pelvis, right? Think rib cage rotation with chest expansion. Breathe. We'll come back to beginning position. Lift your right hand up, bring it to the center, place it down, take your left hand out to the side and pull the floor in the yoga mat to turn to the left. Shoulders back and down. Beautiful, guys. Come back. Elbows can go wide. Let the head rest. The spine drop. Sweep your hands back by your shoulders. Elbows are tucked in. All right, engage your abs. Squeeze your glutes. Lift your legs. Lift your chest. Stay here with the arms or roll the shoulders back and reach the arms behind you. If you want to clasp the hands, you can also clasp the hands. Breathe. Stay engaged with the abs so that the low
back has some extension but doesn't get overextended. Lift the legs. And release. We'll push back this time for child's pose. Sending those hips back. Go wherever you'd like to go with the arms. Take a few breaths. Maybe lengthening the breath. Getting into those low back lungs. Go ahead and make your way up. We're going to bring our seat back. Set on it. Right. We're going to open those legs. Bring that sartorius muscle, bring that around. And in doing so, we'll have the toes facing the ceiling and a little bit of pushing through the ball of the big toe so that this inner ankle opens up. And you might even feel that all the way up, right? So we started with Dandasana in the beginning of the class where we led with the navel. Right, so start off with making sure the knees are light and even a knee bend if needed. And then if you want to hinge forward, just remember that the navel area is in charge of that. So moving forward all together, keeping the upper back from moving into extension too much. You could use your blocks here too, right? If you're like, okay, I can hinge forward, but my hands don't really make it to the floor. Blocks. Sometimes even if I don't need the blocks, it's a bit of a different experience. And it can help you stay aware of what's happening here too. Spread those toes. The further you hinge, the more you have to take your head with you. You wouldn't be looking upright. If I looked upright right now, the back of my neck is not, it's crunching, right? So I would look down. Stay, again, light around those knees. Maybe having that lengthened breath. Sometimes I like to let out a sigh or a yawn, especially if it's a nice big opening, and releasing with the breath as well. All right, you guys, let's make our way up. We'll assist our legs to close, bringing them into a crossed position. Bring your hands to your thighs. Bring yourselves into an upright spine. Just take a moment of silence with ourselves to check in. Bring our hands together, our hearts center. Release the chin towards the chest and lift that chest towards the chin. Bring the head back, set on top. Blink the eyes open.
Thank you for joining me. Namaste.
All right, you guys. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I hope you have a magical holiday, and I'll see you after the new year.